Peace. What's going on, everybody? Yo, this Lord Supreme Wise Mind of Law, and I wanted to touch base with you today on something that was very, very epic today and very deep to me. And it's so very important that we make sure that our example is positive and fruitful in every single way. And here's the situation, right? Now, today, as you can see, you know, I got my shorts on, my black on. I was playing ball today, you know, on this wonderful Saturday, beautiful day. And I was out there all day, right? And I was dealing with a situation with a baby, a young child. You know what I'm saying? In his mid, you know, he was like between 9, 12 years old. You know, matter of fact, he was 12. He was 12, right? And he was sitting up on the basketball court balling, and he was talking to other contemporaries his age. And a contemporary is a person that's in the same age bracket as you are, just to let you guys know. And he was talking, and the way that he was talking was very, very explicit as far as profane, vulgar. Like, he was saying like fuck, like what the fuck, nigga, you can't see me, and all this other stuff, right? So, you know, I was sitting there doing the knowledge to it, and I went over there to him. I was like, yo, peace, brother, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I was speaking with him, and I asked him a question. I said, where did you learn your language from? And what I mean by that is, I asked him, where did he learn to be cussing like that from? And I was like, 'cause I'm pretty sure that your mother and father didn't sit down with you and just started teaching you all types of cuss words just to be saying like that. And he was like, well, he said, shoot, I say what I want. I said, really? I said, so where's your mother and your father? And he was like, well, my mother and my father's over there at a party. I said, yo, so do you mean to tell me if I was to bring you over there and sit down with them and tell them everything that you said word for word, they're going to accept that and find it as appropriate? He said, he looked at me, he was like, no. I said, okay then, so why are you saying it? And he was like, well, I'm only saying it because I want to say it. I was like, well, is that the right thing to say? Because me as an adult, I have rules and regulations that I have to follow. And one of the rules and regulations that I follow with myself is that I strive not to cuss or do anything in front of children that is negative. And what you're doing right now, even though you're with your friends, that is a negative behavior because you're teaching them to do the same thing you're doing. You're making it seem like it's okay. So he was looking at me like, well, you know what? Okay, I said, so let me ask you this one more time. Would that be proper if I was to bring your mother or your father to you, or you to go to them and I would just sit there in front of you and you would just speak like that with them? Would they accept that? He said, no. I said, what would happen if they heard you speaking like that? He said, either my father's going to get really upset and want to hit me, or my mother's going to do the same thing that my father's going to do. I said, exactly. So do you feel that that was a right approach to talk to somebody like? Do you want somebody talking to you like that? And he was like, no. And I said, let me tell you something. I said, just because you hear it don't mean that you have to speak it. You feel me? I said, just because you hear it don't mean that it's right for you to say. And he was like, you right. And I could tell that he was really receptive to what I was saying, because the way that I was saying it in a way where it was not aggressive, not hostile, or none of that. I came to him as a human being, as a person, to teach him, like, listen, you don't need to speak like that. Just because you hear other people speak like that doesn't mean you have to speak like that. You feel me? And he said, okay, I understand. I said, listen, man, I'm only trying to teach you the right thing to do. And that is not to swear, because you have a better vocabulary. I said, the best thing for you to do is learn different words so that way you can replace those words that you're saying. In order for you to be a success in this world, you have to speak certain languages. Do you know that? And he said, no, I didn't know that. I said, yes, you have to speak certain languages. You have to go in different fields of operation, which is like, let's say, for instance, you're trying to get a job. And the employer sees you and they want to hire you. Do you think you're going to be cussing in front of an employer? And he said, no, because I want a job. I said, exactly. So there's certain things that you have to say in order for you to get that job. There's certain ways that you have to word what you're saying in order for you to get the job. And he said, you know what? That makes sense. And then, right, he said, well, I understand what you were saying because, you know what? I'm not supposed to speak like that. And one of his friends was like laughing at him. And I looked at him. I said, what are you laughing for? I said, would you be able to get a job like that? Speaking in front, he said, man, listen, I say what I want. I said, yeah, well, you're going to be where you at too, at the same instance. And what I was telling him was, if you think you speaking like that to an employee to get a job, you got another thing coming. So the point that I'm making is, I pulled the brother to the side, the young brother, and spoke to him and gave him an analogy on why we don't use certain languages in certain areas. And even if you use that language, you don't know who's listening. Because at the end of the day, it could be somebody that's sitting there that could be a model agency. It could be somebody that finds, interest in children as far as advertising and broadcasting, or advertising or marketing, even clothing. And they see you out here, they see you talking, and you don't know who's around. So you have to be very careful. You know what I'm saying? I could have been your long lost brother and you wouldn't even know. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the point that I'm making, that it's very imperative that we leave an example with our children, because at the end of the day, our children are the link to the future. And if they don't have the proper tools to use in order for them to be successful in their undertakings, what makes you think that they're gonna be in these fields of operations getting all this type of money that they need to be getting in order for them to suffice for themselves if we're not properly teaching them? And that's just the fact of the matter. You feel what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't do anything in front of my son that I wouldn't do in front of another child. And that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? I know I have my mistakes and everything, but at the end of the day, I strive to be as mistake-free as possible around children, because at the end of the day, they have a serious memory bank of impression. And when you leave an impression on a child, it's serious. It's a very serious situation. So like I said, we have to be an example to our children. And the way that we are an example to our children is through what we do and how we do it. And what we say and how we say it. You feel me? So I just wanted to share that today with you guys. And that's today's math, actually. Knowledge build or destroy, or being born to born. Because I took my knowledge and what I knew through my experience and that I accumulated through my life, and I added on with another brother in order for them to teach them civilization and righteousness, the right way to do stuff, the knowledge of themselves, the science of everything, life, love, peace, and happiness. That is the science of teaching these degrees. These degrees live themselves out through examples and life analogies. So when you are building, or when you are dealing with everyday people activities, these situations are going to come about. And when you see the situation, that's when you capitalize and you know and understand that these are the lessons that are projecting to you and you act upon it. So that's how I see today's degree and the 1 of 40. I just want to let you guys know that, right, anytime that you are encountered with a situation and that you are in the NGA and you're dealing with 120, make sure that it's very applicable and understandable to the youth as well, because you want to be able to teach to the level of simplicity where even babies understand it. If you go to the Wisdom Build Destroy degree and you break that down to a child, they will be able to spit that back to you on how they see it. And that's just the beautiful thing about this nation. You can keep everything simple and teach everything real. Have a blessed day. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy mine. You know what I'm saying? Look, see? Everything beautiful. I'm over here walking now. But enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if you have a bad moment, if you have experience with children, share it with them so they can learn. Because the babies are the greatest. And they always will be. Peace.